Twitch stream, I don't see anything either.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Sub 2 hours guaranteed. Uncle, don't jinx us.
It's gonna happen now. And we got bombs in Link's house.
Oh, that is such a great find when you're doing standard.
Yeah, so now they don't have to worry about killing enough enemies until they find a bomb. That'll make this should be probably, depending on the item, a sub 6.5 escape.
What if it's 10 bombs, Uncle, after that great 3-bomb find?
Well, as long as we're wishing for things. Oh, look at that.
Get your calm curse in chat, folks.
What other nasty things can we do to them? We've already wished for BOGO mode. Green Pen and Ice Palace. We got a little bit of love in the chest.
Oh, Durand having a little dance with that green guard there. So hopefully these runners have practiced their bomb strats. Standard bomb strats are such a thing. My God, it's so cool if you get it right, and if you get it wrong, it feels so bad.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the blue guards take 2 bombs to kill, unless there's some trick I don't know, right?
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that there's nothing you can do to like get them twice. Like their iframes are so long that you just can't hit them twice with a bomb blast. I might be wrong about that, but most strats I've seen, all strats I've seen, involve 2 bombs. Very nice setups.
Yeah. We got a double key, so that means that the item in the sewers is going to be an item instead of another key.
It's like everyone, I love seeing this, everyone has their own way they deal with these bomb strats.
And in the event they run out, they're not stuck. They can always, is it save and quit, or they take a death and they'll restart with their bombs filled up, at least until they escape.
Yeah, you might be able to do either. I'm not sure about the save and quit, but definitely the death.
Right now, all the runners are doing pretty well. Julo has 5 bombs left, and Perd has 4. And somehow Durand managed to pull on the 6.
So might see pot strats here. I don't know of any very good bomb strats for this ball and chain guard.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if they didn't use pot strats on the ball and chain guard. Particularly since they want to at least keep 1 bomb for the rest of the escape.
Yeah, the final boss of the dungeon, actually, especially when you have a bomb start, is the key rat in the sewers. Can be really trolly.
Yeah, that little guy, he's a troublemaker. You never want just bombs against him, but in this case it looks like that's what we're going to have. Not much divergence at this point. Perd, Julo, and Durand are all pretty much in the same spot, Durand falling a little bit behind.
Now joined by GFE 12. I think is who that is.
Yep, that sure is. Didn't even see that he came back online. I'm trying to decide which sprite I like the most right now. And I think I'm really digging Perd's Fox sprite.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I haven't seen that sprite yet. It's really slick.
How do the sprite updates work? Is it with the logic when the sprites get updated, or how does that work?
It's just hacked into the ROM when you download the seed.
Oh, right, but when they add new sprites to the game itself, do you know how that works?
Oh, how they add those sprites?
Yeah, if they like right now we have like an option of like 30 sprites or so. Like if they wanted to add 10 more, when does that get updated?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know if it's all in alignment with the version updates, but there is a large and very dedicated community of sprite developers which you can join the Discord and be a part of if you're interested in that. So these are all made by a bunch of individual people who all contribute, to make these wonderful sprites for us. So shout out to those folks.
Yeah, and they are very talented. If you're not part of our Discord, I always recommend joining up with us on the Link to the Past Discord. It's a very friendly community. I myself only started playing in July, and it's the point where if you want to try commentating or tracking, they'll let you try. It's a really, really great community to be a part of. Bird gets the key rat without much problem. Both Bird and Julo have enough bombs for this escape side room.
Get to see what's in the back half here. Bottle,
Kool-Aid, a burrito, and a little bit of love. I think that's 2 heart pieces at this point.
Yeah, I've been keeping count, but I trust you. I'll trust your count.
I always have to keep track of those. I have a lucky chest in Gannis Tower that I always open in case it's a piece of heart. Even if it doesn't save me time.
So red potion being a handy safety for sure. Check sick kid and also maybe do the potion glitch in pod. I don't know. It's a little early to be thinking about that, but I just love seeing bottles. There's all this cool stuff you can do with bottles that you can't normally do. You can sequence break Spike Cave. You can do all sorts of fun stuff.
I think there was actually an official PSA given out for the summer tournaments. I think someone accidentally activated the potion glitch you get when you drink it on the same frame that you transition through a door, and that caused some shenanigans in the summer qualifiers.
Yeah, kids, don't drink potions and walk through doorways.
It's not safe. Don't do it. First, checking the bush crab. Nothing but little magics. Tier 1 triple, big magics, full magics. Got blue goo in the Lost Woods.
Get in a lumberjack check. Oh, I missed it.
Flutes in Duran. A flute in the Thieves' Caves. I also missed the lumberjack cave.
We're gonna get another check from GFE though. Looks like a heart piece.
So that means Aga is probably not going to be required. There's still a chance though.
I'm trying to think of ways that it could be required, but I think Spike Cave is the only thing that requires a certain number of hearts. I might be wrong about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking it can happen in logic for the Moon Pearl to be on the pyramid ledge. And I think that's the only way that could happen at this point. Oop, map check.
Where Aga is required. There's another instance where it could be required. If Hammer is in the Pyramid Fairy, then logically you would need to defeat Aga and use the mirror to return the super bomb to the pyramid, which is probably the trolliest way that Aga can be required.
Julo checking out blind sets.
Power glove.
Otherwise, just some... And the magic cape. So 2 big 20s, the magic cape, and the glove and blind sets.
There's that early glove I wanted. Oh yeah, I'm getting corrected in chat here. Nothing to do with hearts. I should have known better. In Spike Cave. Oh, and the other way that Aga could be required is for access to the east side of the Dark World. Also pretty rare, but it does happen.
Getting a check at the well. Julo's our first one over there. Half magic. That's good to see in a Swordless seed. Uh-oh, we've got cape early. Plus half magic.
Uh-oh.
I think that's a breadcrumb.
We're on our way, although we still need quite a few items, especially in Swordless mode. We're going to need either a hammer or a bug net and a lamp to do Aga.
And will the logic require any more weapons for Aga's tower in this seed, or how does that work?
So yeah, the logic will require all the items I mentioned. So you would never be forced to do like dark rooms or anything like that.
Okay. Oop, chat's right. All rise for the Hyrule National Anthem.
I
If
am
it's losing
so
chance.
sorry. You tricked me into that,
I'm.
FT.
It's my bad. I'm just the worst. Fire me now.
Oh, the chicken clip from Jewel Ninja.
Swag points for him.
Partial chicken clip. I give that an 8 out of 10.
It's 3 pieces of hearts, and the Quake medallion, which I think was that in the well?
Which one? The medallion?
Yeah, the Quake medallion.
I missed it. I was too busy looking at chat.
At this point, Julo and GFE are pretty much pixel for pixel, just a little bit behind.
Yeah, we're all relatively close here, considering.
And I don't expect that to change in the next few minutes either. At this point, they don't have a reason not to do south side of Hyrule. Or South Shore. They could decide to go up to Death Mountain though, with the flute.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Flute. Right. I was gonna say they could sequence break up with the gloves. Totally forgetting that we have the flute. So there are two. Two items. One of them's out of logic that they could get up there, and they can see what's on top of Spec Rock too.
As well as a Paradox Cave, which in my opinion is the new Hype Cave.
I think that's a pretty good opinion. Also, they're just more locations.
Julo getting the first use out of the flute to port directly to the swamp. Nothing but a soggy single rupee.
Erdwan going to check desert area, book on Desert Ledge, and gonna go check Agnes Cave.
Huh, book on Desert Ledge.
So yeah, that means that Mitz and Moon Pearl and Mirror are required to get inside of the desert.
Which at that point you already have access to Misery Mire if you already have the correct medallion. So I wonder if that means we're going to see an item on one of the tablets.
Nice bomb strats here in Mini Moldorm Cave on the right side of our screen. It's pretty nice sync there.
Money, blue tunic.
Oh, silver arrows. They are not going to be trolled by that this time.
So as soon as they find the bow, that's going to give them a lot of safety and several of the boss fights, depending on what's required.
And for folks just joining us recently, in Swordless mode, a couple of things have been changed. I mean, the main one is, of course, there are no swords in this mode, but it changes things like the Ganon fight pretty much requires silver arrows. You can damage Ganon with the hammer, and curtains have been pre-cut, along with a few other minor changes that make this mode possible.
We're getting some good navigation between these crabs to pull ahead of Julo. Those crabs hurt a lot, even with blue tunic.
Oh, Flippers in Ice Rod Cave.
Well, that's good timing. They'll probably flute down to spot number 8 and maybe swim up to take the... Oh, now they're going to swim from here to either Hobo or go check out the Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, they're close to that 500 rupees. They're just a little bit short.
They actually have the same amount of rupees for Julo and Durand.
It's like not even an even number either. Like they picked up green rupees somewhere. That's crazy.
I missed the item on the Lake Hylia Island. Did you see what that was?
I saw a number 10, so I'm guessing it was a 10 arrow something.
Nothing but couch cash.
So GFE having the same number of rupees and deciding to go into this little cave here to make up the 500. Smart play.
And somehow, Perd and GFE have managed to only be 1 rupee off from each other. Huh. Chances are good, at least in my experience, that there's going to be a big 20 on Zora Ledge. But if that's what gets you up to 500, that's a bit of a time loss. Titan's Mitts and Moon Pearl. Wow.
Oh my god. Dark World care package.
So they can go ahead and get that. Well, they don't have a mirror yet. So we're still looking for that.
Happy to not see Hammer's Dark World access because it puts our runners in, you know, oh my god, there's... Speaking of mirror...
Not a big 20 today.
All right, so they already have access to desert, actually. Pretty crazy.
Now, the problem here for Julo and Durand is that we are really hoping that, for the first time, that King Zora has a life lesson. Otherwise, if they have to come back here later for a required item, that's going to be a bit of a time loss.
Yeah, that would sting for sure.
We'll know at least when the GFE and Perd get around there.
I don't see where Durand is going to go. If he's going to go straight into like Mire area or Village of Outcasts or what?
I don't see Village of Outcasts yet. They don't have a weapon to Thieves Town. So...
Yeah, it does seem a bit premature, especially without that hammer, which just improves efficiency so much. Which is what I was about to say. I'm glad that they don't have hammer access to the Dark World, because hammer is like easy mode in Swordless, and I want to see these runners have to, like, you know, use all their skills that they've spent literally centuries honing.
Durand and Julo both going for the extra bombs, since that's their only weapon this far. And just a piece of the hearts on King Zora. So Durand and Julo lucking out on that.
Durand's taking a walk somewhere north. Is this Dark World time?
I think
Yeah, it looks like he is going to Village of Outcasts.
Meanwhile, Julo's going to go check out the Mire area.
Yeah, pretty bold play, I think, from Durand to decide to go here, but it, you know, could pay off, and it could mean a single dip into TR where Jewel Ninja might have, single dip into Desert Palace, where it might mean Jewel Ninja has to go twice because they don't have a fire source in order to complete the dungeon. So we'll see.
And I think Julo's making just a kind of a medium risk gamble, because if there's something here, he's going to get it before anybody else. If there's nothing here, well, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty nice play to come here first.
Because he'll get these two, he can check checkerboard, he'll get the Book of Medora, and then he might be able to take a peek into Desert Palace if he feels like it.
And Quake is required for Misery Mire. So just a reminder, we mentioned this before, but in Swordless mode, you can actually use your medallions when you're on those medallion paths. To do things like open up dungeons or kill freezors and stuff. So in fact, Jewel Ninja could go into Mire if they wanted to right now, despite not having a sword, which normally is required.
Yeah, and Jula found what I like to call the clearly superior boomerang in Checkerboard Cave.
But the lag frames, though.
None of this boomerang nonsense.
All right, looks like we have Pendant Mire, though. Pendant Mire, Pendant Pod, and Green Pendant Eastern.
GFE went ahead and headed into the Mullet Mansion. We've gotten some quite a bit of divergence here.
Oh, I keep spreading disinformation. Jewel Ninja could not go into Misery Mire because you need the hammer to use the medallion.
Oh, that's right.
They're gonna fire me.
No one tells Cyclone.
Actually, no, wait. I'm remembering now. I'm not wrong about that. That's a common misconception that has totally screwed runners in the past. You can use the medallion without the hammer. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We're going to find out, maybe. Or maybe not.
Looks like he's kind of headed over that way, unless he's just grabbing the book. Yeah. GFE is still doubling down in the Mullet Mansion. He wants to find something here to get something for his time.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking? It might be checking the tablets that people have been confused by. It's one or the other. One or the other requires the hammer, and the other one doesn't in swordless mode.
I know for sure the tablet requires the hammer, so it might be the pads themselves that don't require it.
Okay, let's go with that for now.
Her deciding he does not want the clearly superior boomerang. Just turns around and heads back out.
Yeah, GFE utilizing the cape there to get that chest, which can be a bit of a pain, especially when you don't have a weapon or the Cane of Samaria. Cape is a great item to have in swordless mode. Great safety.
Especially with an early half magic, that's going to be a lot of saves right there.
So Durand opting not to go into any dungeons and kind of taking an overworld route here. Might be thinking about beelining towards Hype Cave that has high item density, and or getting to Pod early, which if there's a hammer in Pod, which sometimes does happen, then typically it's one of the last places you would check for it.
Oof, I don't even want to think about the logistics for that, because it has to be a key in the first chest, and then you have to dip, duck, dive, and dodge between everything else in there until you get to the chests, because you can't really harm anything with, they only have bombs right now. That's going to be a hard prospect.
And we've definitely seen one item in Desert. I don't know if we've seen both, but Jewel Ninja can't do anything else here because they don't have a fire source yet.
GFE checking the graveyard ledge. And he finds the hammer!
Oh my god. So Durand heading in the wrong direction, unfortunately. It might be a while before they loop back up around to check that overworld location, but because they are doing overworld first, maybe this is just a general strat to avoid overworld locations.
Meanwhile, Durand finds magic powder. So this is a lot of safety the seed is giving us. We have the magic powder, we have the magic cape, we have half magic, like a blue goo, a red goo. This is a hand-holding seed.
Yeah, a lot of safeties, early hammer. Come on. Where's all the troll? And Bo from Stump Kid.
Stumpy actually has something today, so we finally have access to our silver arrows, at which point we now have viable weapons to fight things with.
You know what that means? We are 23 minutes in, and we have seen all the items in the seed hash already.
Oh no. That's either really good or really, really bad.
I just think it was prophetic.
It's either a good sign or an omen. It's too early to tell which yet.
And there's the boomerang that causes a lot less lag.
The clearly inferior boomerang.
The clearly lagless boomerang.
Per decided to take Jeremiah on a world tour of Hyrule.
So Jewel Ninja doing the Skull Woods clear. A common play after this might be to go check like Bumper Ledge and maybe Graveyard Ledge. So we'll see if they end up getting their hammer early as well.
Yeah, and that trip up to the Bumper Cave can sometimes be dangerous because of the two little birds there. Those things hurt for a lot, and they do not leave you alone. Durand checking out Hype Cave. We got a 0 out of 10 Hype Cave, 10 out of 10 Psych.
It looks like Jewel Ninja didn't check Lumberjack at the start, so writing that in now, which I think is really efficient.
Durand getting his first peek at the desert ledge, but he missed the goose because of the little desert man.
He didn't want to get picked up by the wrong bird.
Yeah, it's really surprising at this point. We have 25 minutes in, and we still don't have any crystals or pendants obtained.
Yeah, although early Dark World access, pretty good. Yeah, what is possible crystal-wise? We got definitely Eastern Palace that is completable, full clearable.
Well, they have to logic break since they don't have the lantern yet. But
Yeah, that's true.
I expect these runners to be able to navigate those dark rooms, which are the easiest in the game. I know that because I can do them, which means they're easy.
Not having a sword always complicates dark rooms, but yeah, those ones are maybe a bit easier.
Oh yeah, there's no sword. Right, that does make it quite a bit harder.
Tower of Hera now in well, it's been doable for a while actually. Well, now they have a weapon to defeat Moldorm. Thieves Town, where GFE is, and I think that's it for now. Chat, the bow was at Stumpy.
Chat pointing out that the basement of Hera is actually locked, so we don't have a fire source for that. So if the big key or an item is in there, that could cause problems for our runners.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Chat also pointing out that you can use the red boomerang for dark rooms.
So that's one more point in the superior column then, I guess.
Dang straight.
Oh, we found a green 20 somewhere. I didn't see it, but that would have been a sword.
Which I think is the second one we've seen so far. Still looking for 2 more, unless I'm wrong and we're still looking for 3 more. Julo getting out of... Well, he's heading over to Thieves Town. Coming up, as chat points out, is Hammer Blind, which is usually pretty difficult, just because of the tiny hitbox of the hammer. But we have magic capes, so we can just kind of cheat our way through that.
Well, except you can't use both at once, unfortunately.
Oh no! Right. So never mind. This is a kill or be killed here.
Yeah, and with I mean, Blue Mill helps a bit, but with 6 hearts, I mean, I fully expect GFE to be able to get this down. But it's an interesting thing though, because when you have a sword, you know, blind is what we call a scripted fight, where he will always do the exact she will always do the exact same thing as long as you hit it at the early possible frame. But because we don't have a sword, we got to get a little creative. So it's kind of interesting to see how well people know the non-scripted fight. And let's check this out here.
And he does have 2 potions, chat points out. So this is probably a safe fight. Unless the commentator's curse happens to take hold.
Yeah, already taken 3 points of, or 3 hearts of damage. Nice second phase.
Ooh, and he's gonna drink his red goo, his red Kool-Aid.
Nice. Well done to GFE.
Okay, any fight you can walk away from is a good fight. And he finds a shovel, so he might be making his way back to Stumpy's area and mirroring back if he can route it in, but that probably won't be for a bit. Meanwhile, both Perd and Durand got into Eastern Palace, looking to see what they can find there.
I think the good news is I think they went straight here. They must have gone straight here via the flute. Pod is a pendant. It would suck to have them go look into that dungeon when they don't have the hammer, maybe looking for hammer.
Durand doing the dark room with no sword and no red boomerang. He's just he's taking chat's advice, he's taking everyone's advice, and he got good. I honestly have no idea what's going on for Durand.
He's in the key room, the Stalfos key room, so he's trying to find the door. Sometimes when you get hit by a Stalfos, you can get trapped behind a pot and you lose where you are in the room.
Oh, and you don't have the sword to kind of click around and use your echolocation.
Yeah, exactly.
Hammer was in Graveyard Ledge. Durand getting that damage boost on the first try. Always a good thing to see when you only have 2 hearts left.
And I haven't seen much value here. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's one item left on Armos Knights. I think we've seen all the other dungeon items.
Yeah, we know it can't be a lamp. We know...
Oh my god. Durand doing this room with 2 hearts is, without a sword especially, is very bold.
He's a brave man. Brave, handsome man.
Too bold.
Oh, no. That's not the worst death you can have in a dungeon, but it doesn't feel good anyways.
Yeah, we've all been there. That dark room can be a killer.
So at this point, we've ruled out the bow for go mode. So what's our next choice for go mode? If we can't have bow.
Well, I mean, Turtle Rock is a crystal, so there's always that Ice Rod go mode that everybody loves.
Classic Ice Rod.
But if we were going to be nice to these runners, it would be an item that locks a lot of locations, like Fire Rod, maybe, or Red Cane.
I could see Samaria being a good one for them. We know there's nothing on the pillar in DP, so it could be. I feel terrible for saying this, but we could want boots for go mode, but they head into Ganna's Tower first.
Oh no!
And then we have a Bob's Pillar.
It'd be classic. Jewel Ninja on their Hammer Blind fight on final phase. Well done.
That was very well. Purred about to head into Armos with Durand hot on his heels. Pretty clean Armos fights, only missed 1 arrow. Gets a heart container for his troubles.
So not the value that he was hoping for, but it's a crystal.
So where do you think Purd's headed next? Thieves Town, maybe?
That might be nice. It might send them in the direction of Graveyard Ledge, which is where we know they need to go.
Julo headed over to Alec Baldwin's digging game. I have forgotten several times that this costs money and has bitten me in the butt before.
And got a sword.
At the same time, Purd found the 20, or the green 20 in Hashrilla's huts.
Have we seen Hype Cave yet? GFE heading into Hype Cave. I can't remember if we've seen a check today.
Julo's done it already, I believe.
Okay.
So there's
just
heart
missed it.
container and not much else.
So we get to relive the experience of a 0 out of 10 Hype Cave.
I think that piece of heart filled up for him, so maybe like if we're being generous, a 1 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Looks like Durand's either going to Mothula or just headed to Dark World to go check out some other overworld locations.
Okay, this could be good news for Durand because the same thing happened with Jewel Ninja. Went into Skullwoods, and then they kind of did that standard route of going to check Bumper Ledge, which puts you close to Graveyard Ledge, and then bada bing, bada boom, you got a Magic Hammer.
At which point, with the route he's taking, I imagine he'll head up the mountain, which is surprisingly enough, no one's done yet.
So Perdwong heading into Thieves Town, not full clearable in the sense that he can't get to the big chest, but he does have a weapon in the form of Cane of Burna, and as well as half magic, so should be able to take care of blind pretty easily.
It's a favorite kind of fight, just stand there and try not to not get hits. Ooh, looks like GFE's headed up to Catfish.
Yeah, I like this, routing it in early. If it's something, then you're gonna get it like way early compared to everybody else.
Because this is like I don't know, 2 minutes out of your way, and it can just feel bad if there's nothing here.
Yeah, it definitely tends to be a place that people avoid. Ooh, chat saying that Thieves Town Big Chest was a single arrow, so Perdwong gonna miss out on that. Only gonna have 45 arrows. That's gonna be very significant.
I'm sure he'll be heartbroken when we tell him. Oh, Catfish doesn't have much of anything. Just a little bit of love. So we had a hot start, but at this point, we're just kind of looking for some more items, which I'm sure we're going to find on Death Mountain, since that's the one area no one's been yet.
Yeah, it's very surprising that we haven't seen that yet. I wonder what people are waiting for. Like they're waiting for maybe something to sweeten the deal, like Hookshot or a Fire Source or something.
Mm-hmm. And they can full clear it, except for Total Rock. They can even go to the Dark World. Oh no. No, they can do all of it because they can cross across the top of the mountain to get to East Side.
Yeah, they can do everything but Hookshot Cave and, of course, Turtle Rock.
But if it's Quake, it might be required double dip Turtle Rock.
Oh, and Basement of Tower of Hera. I remember,
Yes.
chat.
Thank you, chat. Keeping us honest. Nope, Julo's doing the first tablet check. And gets nothing for his triple.
Oh, Heart Container. I mean, when they're this low health, that actually could be pretty useful.
You're
I
right.
got Blue Mail, but...
Yeah, you're right. It's not nothing.
If you're going to give Hype Cave a 1 out of 10 for a piece of heart that made a refill...
Call me out on stream. I just came here for a good time.
Just saying. I think you're the one who started it with all the hate on the Bloomerang.
You're right. I did. I asked for this. You're absolutely right.
GFE making the pendant pod play, which I think is really good. There's some indicators bringing you here. Hammer and bow don't unlock too many locations on their own, especially without the light source. There's still a lot that's out of logic. So really bold to kind of set up a mirror spot there, and which I'm attending. I'm assuming he's intending on coming back to that and going into pod after Eastern Palace.
I think so. That's smart routing right there.
I think, yeah, and I mean it is smart. Do the crystal. You know you're going to get value there. Although it is a bit of a gamble maybe to not go to Death Mountain first, which is a lot safer considering you could spend the time it takes to clear pod, maybe 6 minutes, which is a pendant, when it's so far out of logic, you know. So it is a bold move, and we'll see if it's going to pay off or not.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Death Mountain, Durand heads there after finding the magic hammer. So he's doing dark room, no sword, old man before he does anything else.
Here we go. First of our restreamed runners to be at restreamed runners. That's hard to say. At almost 40 minutes in to go to Death Mountain is pretty crazy.
40 minutes in, and no one has more than one crystal except for Perd.
Yeah, interesting. Perdwong with the 2 crystals, not with the hammer though, and unfortunately going in the wrong direction to grab the hammer. Bet you they're going to go grab that magic powder. No, I'm wrong. I have no idea what they're doing.
Oh, he might magic hammers or magic powders in K45, but he might be going to Alec Baldwin.
Well, I meant sorry, turning in that magic powder at the magic bat.
Oh, right.
Normally it requires the hammer to get to it, but you can also mirror there. You just have to leave your mirror spot behind. So maybe he's doing this first. I'm not sure.
Durant doesn't really find anything from Old Man, but he does get that save points, and he also gets to recover all of his hearts.
So Jewel Ninja walked to the Eastern Palace area in the Dark World, but is deciding not to set up the warp point in front of Pod. Might be because they know they are not going to go into Pod after they've cleared Eastern Palace and would rather go up Death Mountain or something better afterwards.
And not much value inside of Spectacle Rock, or on top of it. So we're, I guess they're gonna check the tablets, and then head it over to Hera.
Yeah, smart. Do the west side stuff. You know you can do all the stuff right now, so might as well do it, getting out of the way, and maybe you get something like a hook shot that helps you out on your east side clear. Looks like accidental map check instead of reading the book, though. Maybe there was a book like folded in the pages of the or sorry, a map folded in the pages of the Book of Medora.
And nothing but some rupees. Not what we want to see right now. Well, we have a moment here. I think we should give a shout out to our trackers tonight. Merc249 and MS Metroid. Tracking is really difficult, especially at times like these when we have 4 runners in 4 different locations. Oh, Miss Metroid, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Looks like Duranda is mirroring out, so I didn't see it was in the second chest, but I did see that the first location Tower of Hera was a small key, so it must be basement locked. They're gonna have to come back to that when they get a fire source, which we still have not seen anywhere.
It won't stop our runners from doing dark rooms, but it will stop our runners from progressing for right now. Ooh, chat says we had a mushroom in there, so...
Aha!
Another little fetch quest. Should they... And they have the flute, so that'll be a quick check once they're ready to do it. Without boots, Spiral Cave is a bit of a pain.
Yeah, Resident Sleeper Cave.
And those tight corners without a sword can make those mini Moldorms a real menace.
Yeah, although navigated it pretty well, using the hammer a little bit when necessary. And he's going to go in the top/bottom door of Paradox Cave.
Oh, he's looking for a super... Oh! No, he's just getting some refills, I think.
Durand?
Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Never mind. I'm wrong. That happens a lot.
It's the weird layout of Paradox Cave, wherein you drop down a drop down and you end up in a cave that is actually further to the north on the overworld map.
Was that intended, or was that just a oversight in the design?
I would guess oversight, but I don't know. So for folks just coming in, this is swordless mode. The runners will not be finding any swords and will have to use their wits and other skills in order to make it succeed. Durand picking up a hook shot in Paradox Cave. So some things have been modified to allow this to be completable. Normally Ganon requires the Master Sword, but can be damaged with the hammer. Curtains are pre-cut, and you can use medallions and check tablets regardless of your swords. Maybe requiring hammer sometimes. We're not 100% positive, actually.
And Vanilla Rando is already pretty heavily execution-based. Swordless takes the dial and turns it up to 11.
Yeah, and so far these runners kicking some butt here. So
now
GFE into the pod play now.
hasn't really found anything yet. Per just discovered there's nothing on catfish.
So we got a 20 rupee and a 5-era upgrade in Super Bunny Cave. But that hookshot then, of course, opens up Hookshot Cave. And then maybe the only thing that would be left for them up here if they don't get any more items is walking over to Spike Cave, which is in logic with that Cane of Burna.
And with half magic, it'll be trivial. They'll still have plenty of magic left over, so they don't have to worry about conserving that.
Ether required for Turtle Rock, looks like.
Haven't seen that quite yet, so that's one more item that's going to be added before we can get into go mode.
All right, all I've seen so far in pod is a heart container from GFE. He might have picked up other items that I missed. So heading towards the back part of pod, many of these chests are going to be out of logic, requiring a lamp, logically.
All but 2 of them out of the, I think there's 9 back here. There's 2 in the dark maze, plus a big chest. 2 right here and 2 down there, so maybe that's 7.
Yeah, I think 7, maybe. I don't know, counting's hard.
Counting is so hard. Even with a tracker, I still managed to mess it up.
Durand using some hookshot strats here to just conserve on some magic. Maybe they're going to want to use it later for something else.
It's also a nice little time save after bosses if you have a filled magic meter.
And just a 5 bomb upgrade. I didn't see it was in those dark rooms from GFE, and no one might have seen anyway because it was in the dark. There's a big key.
Small key in the down below, but I didn't see what the other item was. Looks like Duran's headed for Swamp Palace to get the green pendant.
It's an interesting play. I mean, lots of breadcrumbs leading you here. You have all the stuff you need to full clear it. And there's 6 items inside the dungeon as well. 7 if you include the green pendant.
Yeah, but no one wants to do left side swamp.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a good reason to avoid coming here. But I think when it's open early, there's a much higher likelihood that it's required for progression. Looks like GFE is trying to find their bearing in this dark room.
This dark maze, this is one of the harder ones in the game. I think the only harder one I would say is either the tower or Aghanim's Tower or the dark maze in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Aga Tower is especially hard because not only do you have a maze, but you have several rooms in addition to that with enemies in them and stuff.
Plus you can fall off and have to start the room over in some of the rooms.
Yeah, so interesting property of the fill algorithm and the way that the logic works is that the earlier you get progression, the earlier you get an item, then the more likely it is to lead to progression inversely proportional to how many item locations it unlocks. So that's kind of a mouthful, but basically like the Ice Rod, for example, only unlocks 1 item location, the item behind Trinex. So if you get it early, then it's a better than usual indication that Trinex might have some kind of progression that's necessarily just because of the way that the fill algorithm works, to ensure that seeds are completable and stuff. So the fact that Swamp is completable, completable, they have all items that are required, like the hookshot, is I think a good indication and might be what Duran's thinking is here to go to Swamp Palace so early.
His only other good option, I think, is Mire. But there's only 2 items in there, even if there is a crystal.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping track of what overworld they've done, but it seems like they did a lot of overworld at the start, so that might be right.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of item density left on the overworlds. So at this point, they're probably going to stick to dungeon diving.
Yeah, I think Duran maybe hasn't gone to Death Mountain yet, though. So...
Wasn't that where the...
Oh, Cane of Samaria.
Nice. Already worth it to stop by here.
Oh, no, Duran did go to Death Mountain. What
Yeah.
am I talking about? That's where they got the hook shot.
Yeah.
So Cane of Samaria required at least for Turtle Rock, if for nothing else.
And Mire.
Yeah, although Mire may not be required.
That's true, unless we have a pedestal steed.
Oh boy!
It's still alive, boys.
We don't have let's see, what would we be missing for a pedestal seed to be? Oh, we got everything.
Ether,
Yeah.
fire rod, ice rod.
No, for pedestal. Because Turtle Rock's a crystal, so
actually get it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah, we haven't had a ped check for many of our restream runners, even though we have the book. So Durand not opting to go back for the big chest once they got that big key tells me that he's intending on re-entering the dungeon to check left side.
Well, he's found 2 of the items so far, both the cane and green goo. At this point, it'd be kind of a high-stakes gamble, but he might find it worth it to just skip the rest of Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I might be thinking that maybe Kane's the only progression that's going to be in Swamp. Although Kane itself doesn't unlock very much, at least not at this point, because they don't have Ether to get inside of Turtle Rock. So it only really unlocks Vitreous. It unlocks 1 location right now. Maybe logically some stuff in Ice Palace, but again, they don't have Fire Rod or Bombos, so they can't really even get inside of Ice Palace.
So I believe that's another point in favor of the pedestal seed. Just gonna throw that one out there.
Yeah, what could be on the...
Let's see, we could have boots, we could have medallion, either of the rods.
Fire source.
Or a fire source, yeah.
We know for sure it's not a sword.
Chat pointing out we still technically need a lantern before we can actually get to ped, so it can't be on the pedestal.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, and that means... That means that the ped is not in logic yet, which is a point against the pedestal.
Don't say things like that. How awful of you.
I'm just trying to be a realist, man. All right, Duran picking up their green pendant, and we'll see if they're going to head right back in to check that big chest on the left side. My guess is yes. That's what I'm betting on.
Yeah, that was the 3rd item he found on Argus. So he's about halfway through this, besides not counting the green pendant itself.
He's leaving. He might just be leaving to check Bombo's tablet and then coming back. I don't know. Or maybe he's going to flute away and turn in the pendant.
I bet he'll flute away. That'd be kind of a time waste to come out here to check check the tablet, then go straight back and have to redo the... do you have to redo the water access?
Yeah, you're right. He'd have to redo the dam. You're right.
You know, when I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, it's obvious.
Guess I was just really hoping for a left side swamp check. Alright, Jewel Ninjas also got their hookshot as well. Perdwong's still trying to find his hammer.
He's in the right area, but he's just on the wrong side of the world.
I'm gonna go do Death Mountain first, though. I don't blame him. Not much that's open to him on Death Mountain without the hammer. He needs the hammer to get the hook shot, which so means there's just no possible way he can check anything but Tower of Hera and these first couple locations on the west side. So he's not going to spend too much time here looking for the hammer.
Unfortunately, he just won't find much of anything either.
Yeah, that's true. Other than the fact that Tower of Hera is Fire Rod locked. Or, sorry, Fire Source locked.
No, I'd like that ambition. Let's predict a bold fire rod for Tower of Hera.
Fire Rod upstairs, lantern required to get it.
You say the worst things. I love it.
Actually, lantern upstairs would be worse, and no. I was gonna say fire rod on pedestal, but that couldn't be true. That couldn't be true, unfortunately. Oh, it could be. No, it can't be true.
All of our runners kind of doing the same things that other runners have done. It's actually kind of a small running right now. I think we have a total of 7 or 8 entrants. Swordless, even if it's really fun for the runners, it's not a terribly popular variant. Since
Yeah,
it is,
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 entrants today.
It is heavily execution based without that sword, so only the most insane of us are brave enough to try it. Chat pointing out Duran can fake powder, but it's kind of a doesn't matter since he has real powder.
But he could, though.
He could do it. He could do it with swag points.
Or if he just happened to be out of magic for some reason.
Julo cashing in his magic mushroom.
So I guess I should clarify, because there's chat's like, what are you talking about, Kern? Fire Rod can totally be on pedestal. Because pod requires the lamp logically, and it is a pendant. In my summation, or in my in my guess of what was going to happen in Tower of Hera, it couldn't be Fire Rod on pedestal, which leads to lamp up Tower of Hera, because lamp would then be required to pull the pedestal. But Fire Rod could still be on the pedestal.
Herd now headed over to the witch's hut, but unfortunately he's just gonna find some money. Still looking for his hammer.
We're running out of places to check though. I can't think of places that he hasn't been, except for maybe Pod. But I'd imagine he checked Graveyard Ledge before going to Pod, unless he's just completely forgot about Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna get that real soon. Chulo heading over to check out the King Zora that he skipped earlier, but unfortunately, there's nothing there. He was off by, I think, 6 or 7 rupees earlier. He has to double dip this because he didn't have that.
Yeah, I think Misery Mire progression in some fashion is what's left, really.
Yeah, that's it. All that's on the table right now.
Okay, Perdwong doing Skull now, so hopefully this will shunt him over into the Graveyard Ledge direction. Might also get a pedestal check since he's going to be in this area with the book and the mirror.
Head hype! Duran having a nice clean Thieves Town fight. Any fight you can walk away from is acceptable.
Yeah, it was too fast. I missed it. Did you slow it down there, Trent?
Javilo now heading over to Swamp Palace. He'll get his Cane of Samaria, and maybe we'll get a left side check. But as we're approaching the hour mark, he might feel pressured enough to skip it.
Okay, I've got a new prediction. left side of swamp has a fire source, and the pedestal has the other fire source. So people are going to look at the ped and think that it's required.
So that'd be 2 progression items out of the 7 available to this seed's Swamp Palace. Speaking of, has he cashed in that green pendant yet?
I didn't see it.
Oh, we found 4 items, I think. I forgot about the shield. So that's a heart container, that's shield, that's
Right.
cane.
Jiffy going to give us our first look at left side swamp, looks like.
He's doing a quick check where you can just pass through these and then go unleash the water. It's happened several times to me personally where I'm just brain dead at this point. I forget to not activate the water and then have to exit to undo it.
And flood the small key.
Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing what happens. But he's smarter than me, so he's good to go. Duran checking out the shovel breadcrumb, but he's not going to find anything but some bombs, I believe.
Perdwong making the play for his hammer.
Which will probably direct him. Well, where will he go next as soon as he finds it?
Good question. Maybe rest of Death Mountain check would be my guess.
Oh,
It's not too much that's opened up by just the hammer. Maybe you could go to Pod. That would be another idea.
I like the Death Mountain check because that opens up the 7 in Paradox Cave, and then some of the other items in the Dark Vault Death Mountain.
There's some rage bombs. Understandable.
We love you. We understand. We all been there.
It's gonna flute somewhere. Yep,
So
going to Death Mountain.
He's gonna find his hook shot.
And I didn't see what was on the left chest of left side. Did you see it?
It was a compass, I believe.
Oh, okay. And a bug net.
Unfortunately, Aga's dead at this point.
We still haven't seen the big chest though. We got the big key, but we haven't opened it up. So GFE will probably be the first one to show us what that is too. Oh, compass net, map, and big chest. Okay, never mind. We might have seen all the items.
Chad's asking if progressions in Misery Mire. Yeah, at this point, it's looking more and more like it, which is it's really bad probability because there's only 2 items in there out of the 216, so it's a real low percent play, and no one wants to do it.
Yeah, 2.3 repeating if you include the pedestal possibility.
Which of course we do.
Which of course we will include that.
Per checking out what's on the floating island, nothing but a big 20, so he'll head away from the dead rocks and head over to the spiral cave. Yeah, he's gonna go check the big chest on GFE's side.
Getting sucked back in by that stairway. There is a way to avoid that, but it requires the boots, as far as I know. And Chat was right. It was just a map in the big chest.
Just a barbacoa burrito.
Chat was right.
Chat's always right. Never doubt chat.
So I'm pretty sure at this point the play is check pedestal and rush dungeons, or go to Mire and check the items there. That's it.
Man, neither of those options are very appealing. On the one hand, information is super important in routing, and the earlier you figure that out, the better. On the other hand, there's only 2 chests in Misery Mire. So at this point, I believe we've dipped into all the pendant dungeons anyways. With the exception of Misery Mire. And has good controls, getting past the jellies. It's real easy to get hit there by the shocks.
So in terms of placement, the fill algorithm doesn't really care that pendant has a lot more requirements to it. Or sorry, the pedestal has a lot more requirements to it. So if we're correct in our thinking that there are only 3 locations left, being the 2 inside of Misery Mire and the pedestal, it is a 1/3 chance right now that that's where our progression lies.
Oof, that does not feel good in a race like this. When you're playing casually, it's fine. You can take as much time as you want.
Especially with this book having been available to them for a bit, like, none of them have checked pedestal, but they don't know that, right? Like, they don't know that their opponent hasn't checked it. And so if there is something there, they might be worried that they're far behind because of it.
Right, and the meta strategy being that you always assume that your opponents have taken the optimal route. So if there is something on pedestal and they take a little longer to find it, they're going to feel pressured about, am I the last one to figure this out?
Yeah, in a seed like this, where you're looking for hammer, and there's this crazy bottleneck in a pendant dungeon like Misery Mire, it's really hard to guess where your opponents are. It's very difficult.
And checking out another dark room, finding a small key in pod. Bird found his hookshot, so he's checking out Hookshot Cave. Unfortunately, there's nothing really in there for him.
Getting the menu boss from Julo Ninja. It's not much you can do to speed up this fight. There's not many interesting strats, except for maybe you can hookshot 2 puffballs and then hammer them both, but that's like the best you can really do.
Yeah, and that's inherently risky just because it just increases the chance of you getting hits. So he does have full health, so it's not much of a concern for him. He was optimizing it though by switching in the middle of his hookshot.
So I'm just remembering that pedestal's still not in logic, so it's not quite 1/3 chance of pedestal, because we would need the lamp to complete pod logically. But it could be that Misery Mire has the lamp, and if that's the case, in order to open up pedestal, the lamp being in Misery Mire would also open up a few other locations, namely one more item in Tower of Hera that we haven't seen yet.
But at this point, we're an hour and 8 minutes in. If we find the lamp in Misery Mire, do we just go ahead and complete it, or do we just go ahead and leave? I mean, I would think that the strategy is to just go ahead and blind complete it without knowing what's on pedestal.
I think it would be a really gutsy move to bail out of Misery Mire with so many items still out there in the wild. But we could see it if someone was feeling desperate or just feeling like having fun.
So the more and more we get, the further and further we get in, this looks to be a hundo seed. A bookshelf, I think, was a piece of hearts. So far boots aren't required. And we
Wong. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we also haven't seen either at all, or either of the rods, so we still got quite a bit to find.
Yeah, at least looking for logically 4 items. At least. We might also need the boots. 3 if you don't care about dark rooms or we don't need the lamp for some other reason. Okay, there was the green pendant turn in. It was a fire shield on Julo Ninja's side. I didn't catch that before.
So Swamp at least had Candace Samaria, and he gets swag points for having the swag net inside of it. But other than that, you could have just jetted after the finding the cane. Now, if we find boots, all that really opens up is the pillar and DP, which we know is just the compass, and it opens up the bonk rocks. I don't think there's anything else boots really opens up.
King's Tomb, and then it opens
yeah.
up a couple of locations we've already seen, like Bookshelf and Library and Lumberjack Cave, which we know is nothing already. So yeah, actually, boots could be a way to unlock progression. I think, realistically speaking, Ether might be a very probable one, just because it unlocks a lot of locations.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, do you want... I think the answer is obvious here, but I'm not quite sure. Do you want an item that unlocks a lot of locations, or just a few, so you can check those and at least narrow it down a little bit further?
Personally, I hate bottlenecks in seeds, like either watching them or playing them, because it just equals the playing field a bit too much. Instead of like really getting to highlight variations in routing and stuff. So I'm hoping that it's going to unlock a few different options, which unfortunately there aren't really many items that could do that right now in this seed. It's going to be like an obvious, you get Ether, you go to Turtle Rock, or you get a lamp and you check Ped and then, do Tower of Hera.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make too. One of the really just cool things about Randomizer here is that runners can take all different routes, and then we can still be within like a minute of the GT, which is just really cool when it happens.
Yeah, both Durand and Jewel Ninja, despite the differences in the way they've routed and played, are both in pod together. Perdwong, I don't think Perdwong's checked pod yet. There's no progression there, so he might not. But he's not far away from them either, just about to get his green pendant as well. GFE, I'm not sure what he's heading back here for. Maybe he didn't check the big chest in Thieves Town?
Did he finish doing purple chest?
Oh, maybe he just did one and not the other. Okay.
He could also be
that
doing...
makes sense.
Oh, he's pulling out the mirror. He hasn't done the magic bat yet.
Ah, I see. Yeah, this might be the last thing, or one of the last things that he has before he considers diving into Mire.
Durand went ahead and just completed pod, so he has a feeling that this might be a ped required seed.
Oh my god! Finding the ice rod, which is a required item. So even if it's not ped required, Helmasaur was required.
Oh boy, that's gonna feel bad, because I think all three of the other runners have at least dipped in the pot at least once.
They might have just been waiting because they didn't want to do, like, it's a pendant, it's out of logic, it's also slow to do and hard to do without the fire rod in the dark. And without a sword, it can just be a huge pain. I totally missed Durand doing that Dark Turtle room, unfortunately, because that would have been fun to watch or not watch, as the case might have been. But yeah, this confirms that, I'm pretty sure this confirms there is some kind of progression in each of the pendant dungeons. We had Canis Samaria in Swamp, Ice Rod in Pod, and I think now, by process of elimination, there has to be something in Mire.
Yeah, it's either going to be a light source or a fire source, or it's going to be the Ether Medallion.
This being a pendant seed or a pedestal seed would equalize a little bit here. Otherwise, Durand's got a huge advantage, because if it's a pedestal seed, everyone's going to get that fire rod anyway, just in the course of things. But if it's not, then yeah, that they might have. It might be tough for Jewel Ninja and GFE to find a way to route Helmasaur back in.
Herd had a pretty clean first phase of Argus, but now he's just kind of dodging around his arrows.
Yeah, this is hard, the silver strats, if you don't get it right away. So your options here are hammer strats or silver strats, and both kind of suck. And I'm with him on the silver strats. But if you don't hit Argus right away, then it's very difficult to hit him. Here we go, Jewel Ninja being the first to hop into Mire. I thought for sure it was going to be GFE.
I bet he'll head that way as soon as he finishes this tablet check.
Let's see where Perdwong goes.
We have chat trying to guess what's on pedestal. We have one guessing boots, another guessing fire rod.
Oh man, hammer strats in this Wizrobe room.
Oh, that's
tough.
Just gross. Oh, he might go for the cane strat. He's doing it.
Nice.
Very clean. Didn't even occur to me he was going to do that until he actually did it. I don't usually associate that until he gets to GT in those Wizrobe rooms.
Yeah, the NMG strat involves, if you're doing the fastest strat, it involves having sword beams and using the fire rod. Of course, Jewel Ninja has neither even just a sword, not to mention a fire rod. But there are strats that involve using Cane of Samaria and boots that you can one cycle Wizrobes in. But yeah, it's just like this is what's so fun about Swordless mode is you have to improvise new ways to clear rooms that you've done thousands of times in the most optimal way.
Yeah, it does. Swordless does really make you think in the moments. It's unfortunate this seed is pretty linear, but in general, it does a really good job of just making you a better player.
Where is GFE going? Oh, did he not check east side of Death Mountain?
Goodness, Julo found the Bombos Bombos medallion.
Ah, there it was. Okay, so that was the. Oh man, that's gonna be really rough. Really rough for Jewel Ninja and GFE in particular, who dipped pod without doing Helma.
Oh no, man. That's not the progression we wanted to see.
But Durand, that might have put Durand in the lead all of a sudden.
Right, yeah.
I think it might still come down to what's on pedestal, because after this, Jewel Ninja will have 2 of the 3 pendants. And without the ice rod or the fire rod, might still be thinking, you know what, I should check pedestal before I go up Death Mountain. And if pedestal has something, then they might be saved and get that fire rod along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 3 of our runners in Mire, but now it looks like GFE's gonna get that information.
Oh, here it comes.
Get your emotes ready, chat. We got ourselves a peg check. Oh, what a letdown.
That super important bomb storage upgrade.
Ped is dead. But ironically, all 3 dungeons are still required. Because you got Bombos and Mire, you got Samaria and Swamp Palace, and then there might be something in Hera. Actually, we don't know.
Well, Hera's a crystal.
Oh, Hera's a crystal. What was the other? A pod. Pod had the ice rod behind Helmasaur.
Oh, what was I thinking? Oh, right. Bombos. Oh, what was I thinking? I was thinking that this would give them Turtle Rock access, but no, right. This gives just the Ice Palace access.
Yeah,
so this isn't bad news for Jewel Ninja just yet, because if they get Ether here and that leads them towards Turtle Rock and away from their Ice Rod and on Helma, then that could be bad news. But if it's something else like Boots, then not so bad just yet.
Yeah, at this point, you're really, really hoping for Fire Rod to make the cold start easy. And I think Julo stocked up on Blue Goose, so he's really hoping for one of the items to be Fire Rod, so we can get that easy cold start fight.
Yeah, well, there's got to be something here. Fire Rod would unlock. Oh, Boots!
That's acceptable too.
That is a kind of. It opens up locations. That kind of counts as progression, right?
Yeah, and also
Furlong getting his bombos.
Yeah, as the added benefit, we're no longer in slow mode.
Let the speed run begin.
And it also opens up hovering.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these runners can hover, but that would be interesting to see. There isn't really much places to hover left, though, because we got that hook shot.
Yeah, really, it's just Trolldorm 2, if you want to skip that.
If you want to save, like, I think it's like a second or 2. Is what it saves when you have the hook shot.
And if you fall over, it's if you fall off, there's no time saved. Spy Poet was the one who rolled the seed, and she's pointing out that no, she will indeed not be allowed to roll any more seeds. Chat's kind of in denial. They don't want to. They think Pet is lying.
Chua Ninja having a bit of trouble with these Stalfos. When you miss that guaranteed strat, and you have to do it the vanilla way, and you realize you haven't done it the vanilla way in like 20 years, then that can be a problem.
And nothing feels worse in this room than missing that with your last bomb.
Oh god.
It feels so bad. I'm speaking from experience. It feels bad when you just run out of bombs and you have to redo it and hope you find bombs along the way.
Yeah, let's see if we're gonna get some. Oh yeah, so no bomb jump, which is smart. They've got the Canis Samaria, they have the hook shot. No reason to do the IPVJ here.
Yeah, at this point it only saves a few seconds at most if they get it on the first try. Which I bet these runners would, but that's not critical in this case.
So Duran's still mobbing around in Misery Mire. I wonder if they're going to do the Dark Basement head to Vidi, because Duran hasn't checked the pedestal yet. So for all he knows, pedestal is still required.
Oof, and we've only found one item in here, and I've really not been paying attention to his Mire run, so I don't know if he's found the other two yet. At this point, our runners have decided to leave Mire and head over to Ice Palace. They found the bombos that give them access. Duran being the only one to stay behind and possibly full clear it.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen if he's picked up his, because I think this is the chest that had bombos in it. No, I'm wrong. So maybe he already did get bombos and just in space in it. Yeah, he got it.
Cassinatrix asking why there's a medallion emblem on the floor. It's because in Swordless, if you don't have that hammer, those are the only spots you can use those medallions. And in this case, bombos is required to get through it.
If you don't have a sword, yeah. In the original game, you can't, for whatever reason, you can't use a medallion without a sword. So because it's swordless, we have to have another way to use medallions. So you can't use medallions in any place other than where those pads are in this game mode.
Vitorp and the boys come in clutch for us.
Yeah, although they also inflicted swordless on us and on these runners, so I think it balances out in the end.
And the karmic balance is restored there.
Duran going a bit early there on those that Freezor. If he doesn't come out of a wall, you can't kill it, unfortunately.
At least he has half magic, and it's not a whole lot of wasting.
Or maybe he just like needed a break, and that was his way to like make it seem like oops, I missed it, and that way he can finish drinking his coffee or whatever he was doing.
These are speed strats. This is how you really get first place.
We've all done that before. Like, we accidentally missed a spin speed, so we didn't have to do some risky strat.
And that, speaking of, we only just got the boots, so we haven't seen any of the speed boosts so far.
Oh yeah, now we get to see some cool stuff, hopefully. Still so much. There's the fire rod in Ice Tea Room.
Thank goodness. That's going to feel good.
So all that opens up now is just Mothula. And, I guess it's the fire source, so also Basement of Hera, giving us total Hera access, which is also the 5/6 crystal. So it does open up a couple of locations, but not like a huge amount, not like Ether would do.
And is that both? Where's the second 5/6 crystal? Because if it's on Mothula, then they can also check Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, Mothula and Tower of Hera are the 5/6 crystals. But unfortunately, I'm trying to think. They're going to check Bonk Rocks, I'm guessing, on their way to check, Skullwoods. So if they do Skullwoods and Tower of Hera, I'm thinking of Jewel Ninja. I doubt that they're going to come off the mountain to go do Helma for no reason, and that's just going to lead them straight into TR without that ice rod.
That's really true. Durain's the only one with the ice rod. I don't know when the others are going to go all the way to Helmasaur to get it. When at least GFE knows that pet is not required.
Yeah, so it turns out during doing that hard dark room with those turtles with no fire rod, which can be very difficult and deadly, really paid off for Durand.
Yeah, that's easily the best gamble that's been made so far.
And despite all the convergence, all of our runners now are divergence. Now all of our runners now converging in Ice Palace, very close to each other. The only real difference, again, being that ice rod.
Yeah, it's still kind of hard to tell who's in the lead, but it's probably Durand since he does have the ice rod.
Yeah, I would say so, because you get all these breadcrumbs. Finally, the seed opens back up to you. You're not going to randomly go back to Helma, which you could have done ages ago. You're going to hope that it was the right decision to avoid Helma and keep going. Unfortunately for the rest of these runners, although I don't think Perdwong has gone to pod yet. I can't remember, which might actually incentivize going there. That would be lucky if that was the case.
That's a good point. I'm not sure either, because there weren't any items in there that appear on the tracker. So we'll have to sit back and find out together.
Daniel Oberon letting us know that Perdwong did go to pod. We just when he didn't have the hammer. Okay.
Yeah, he was hoping for the hammer to be in there, which unfortunately was not the case. Jewel Ninja getting our first land mola here in a hot second.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't counting items in Desert Palace. There might be another item left on Landmo. I guess we'll see here. Fire Rod or Silver Arrow strats. I wonder which one Julo's going to choose. Or maybe he's just going to surprise us and do like bomb strats or something.
For the sole purpose of making us look bad. If I'm more comfortable with personally with Fire Rod strats. It's just, for me, more consistent, but a runner of his level is just going to be able to hit the silvers no easy. You also get our first King's Tomb check from Kurd.
Hey, there's that ether.
That's important.
Yeah, that's that Turtle Rock access.
Oh, but he might go up there hoping the ice rod's in there.
Looks like that's what he's doing. He's hoping that.
No, Kurd.
No, he's going to them off. But with having dipped pod, I would be very surprised if he decided to go do Helma before going up a mountain.
And only one of our runners has that information. Whew, boy.
Joe Ninja trying to call the duck with the mirror there for a second. It was the wrong sound effect that played.
Wrong blue item. Julo is also heading over to Mothula. Really shows how linear the seed was. That for the past three or four dungeons, all of our runners have been in the same one.
Yeah, huge divergence. Even Perdwong taking so long to find the hammer on the graveyard ledge. Still, though, quite close to each other.
So at this point, we're still looking for Lantern. Unless it's on Mothula, it's probably in Turtle Rock, right? Or Mimic Cave?
Yeah, I guess the options now are somewhere in Turtle Rock or Mimic Cave. Could be in that final item in Tower of Hera. And it could be Pyramid Fairy.
Jeez, this really is a hundo seed.
But my guess is that these runners won't need the lamp, especially with how much health they have, and they have bottles and stuff. So if they are worried about that Dark Maze Room in Turtle Rock, then they have safeties.
chat pointing out, I believe they're correct. We are in no mode. Since we do know where everything but the lantern is, and if you can do dark rooms, the only one that's really important left to do is the Turtle Rock Dark Maze. Purr getting kind of trolled by the spikes, blocking his fire rod shots, as well as Mothfield just sticking by the spike wall, which you just don't want to see.
Nice. Gets him down though pretty fast. And is rewarded with a heart container, so not the lamp. Ice Rod is on Helmosaur.
Which is an awful, awful place for it to be, since it's not even a green pendant, it's the regular pendant.
Yeah, it was a regular pendant, and logically, to get the Ice Rod, the seed wanted you to. Well, I guess you didn't have to double dip the pod, but yeah, wanted you to come back after finding the lamp in who knows where right now. Perdwong got his good/bad news from the pestle. And heading back. Oh yeah, right. He hasn't done Desert Palace yet, so I'm just gonna go complete that boss. So, interesting trick that could be used here. These runners will have done pretty much everything after they go up to Turtle Rock and they check Laser Bridge and they find nothing. They will have done practically everything in the game at that point, except for going back down to Helmosaur King. So they will pretty much know where the Ice Rod is. Normally, you could mirror out of that location and you might be able to get back to that mirror spot if you can walk back on the east side of the Death Mountain to get to it. So you can kind of go back to your mirror spot. Your mirror spot does go away if you mirror, of course, or if you save and quit. So some people believe that if you go into the dark world, your mirror spot is just screwed. Like you can't get back there because you can't get back to the light world without either saving and quitting or mirroring. And actually I found this out recently. This is in the original manual for the game. It actually tells you this trick in its own way. But if you die and select save and continue, not save and quit, your mirror spot is retained. And if you haven't beaten Aghanim, you will be given an option to go back to a light world location. So that's a way that you can go from the dark world to the light world without losing your mirror spot. So if our runners, even though they might have to double dip TR, that doesn't mean they have to do the whole dungeon again, if they are thinking about that. If they're thinking about their knowledge that they might have gained from that original Link to the Past game manual.
Two of our runners headed back over to Hera. I bet the Sword Purd's gonna head next. But it's time for Julo's coffee break. Purd getting in his speed trick. I think Duran did one just a minute earlier, since we have boots that's finally available. The way that tricks works is that if you have the hook shot and boots, which is the only way it's possible to do it in Swordless mode, if you item dash with the hook shot on a set of manual stairs, then it'll store your speed in such a way that when you exit the stairs, it'll send you into the pedestal, or the charging speed without forcing you to, or giving you the maneuverability of bootsless walking. The other way to activate it is if you can charge up a sword spin on a set of stairs, a set of manual stairs instead of the automatic stairs you see sometimes, and you, I believe, you activate your boots on the same frame that you unleash the sword. That will also be the speed boost.
Yeah, it's the frame after. Yeah, so you release the spin and then do the. So you kind of have to roll your thumb if you're using a controller over to the A button. But of course, we don't have a sword, so spin speed. Probably not going to see that today. It would be my guess anyway. We'll see.
Yeah, it's only with the hook shot it's available right now.
Yeah, but interesting for sure. And there's so much interesting stuff that can happen because of that spin speed state, including major glitches you can do with that spin speed state. But hopefully we don't see that in this race.
Duran not even feeling pressured by those fireballs, just walked right ahead.
Try to do the boot dash through that bumper. It's very tight. Got bonked downstairs. We'll see if they try it again. Nice, there we go.
Thankfully, hammered Troll Dorm only takes 3 hits since it does the same as a Tempered Sword. And, oh! Got trolled. At least he didn't hit the bad fall off spot, which can send you back to the second floor, first floor.
I think it's I think you're right. I think it's the second floor.
Playing it a bit careful now since he's already lost a bit at a time. And he gets it.
Nice, there we go.
Julo
Ninja.
Yep, finding his ether.
So Durand has Skull left, as well as, of course, those bonk locations. I'm pretty sure Durand hasn't gotten his ether yet.
He has not. He's not headed that way yet. He's gonna go do Moth first. Looks like Julo's gonna cash in on the Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, right. Our lamp could be there. All sorts of fun speed strats that can be done now that they have the boots and the hook shot with the super bomb. Normally, you can't dash with the super bomb, which really restrains your movement, but there are a couple of techs you can do to speed that up. Although they're quite difficult.
One of your options is to, if you get hits, is it the same frame you get hit, or the frame after you can charge without the bomb exploding?
I don't know how many frames. It does seem like there's a little bit of a leeway. It's tight, but it's not that tight. I don't think it's quite a frame perfect trick.
Okay.
But yeah, while the bomb is catching up to you, you can start a dash, and the bomb will dash with you.
You can also, is it boots required to save the bomb on the last frame of it exploding, or is it just any old trick?
Oh yeah, any screen transition is called super bomb teleportation. If you transition a screen right as a bomb has reached 0 on its countdown, then it will teleport to your location and it won't have exploded, so you can still have it. And that trick can be used to save time or to sequence break it. But it's not just transitioning a screen like side to side. Other forms of screen transitions which count include dying and being revived by a fairy, weirdly enough, and also mirroring. So if you mirror on the exact right moment, then you can also perform a super bomb teleport, which can be useful in sequence breaks.
It's a risky trick though, so we don't see it very often.
And it doesn't come up very often either. The only time you'd ever want to sequence break the super bomb is in a moment where the pyramid fairy was required only for the hammer, which comes up in less than 0.2% of all seeds. So very rare. There's the lamp on Perdwong, right side of Turtle Rock.
So we no longer have to worry about that dark maze, which that one can be tricky.
So Duran now getting his 6th crystal, still doesn't have the ether medallion. I would say that they're not like firmly in the lead at this point. GFE and Perdwang and Julian are just about to be in Turtle Rock as well. So they're gonna have it seems like a lead. They're gonna have to double dip, but they do have a bit of time ahead of Durand entering Turtle Rock that they can make up if they do a trick like retaining their mirror spot on the laser bridge ledge.
Yep, this is still anybody's game. And oh, GFE barely missed his exit, and he accidentally got back on his platform. That happens quite a bit if you're not careful.
Oh, Durand pulling out the flute. I don't know if that means they're not checking the bonk spots. Where could they be going? Or maybe save including to sync now?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think they had that much left to check, so I think this might be it for them.
In which case, yep, that's where he's headed. So he's going to take back the lead at this point. Though I would say it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to evaluate if there is a lead or not. It just depends on quite a lot of factors. But first of our runners in Go mode, Durand in the Swordless seed at 141. Quite a trolly seed. Really bottlenecked in some nasty ways.
Mm-hmm. So I think it takes about, I don't know, what would you say, 15-ish minutes to get through Turtle Rock and GT if it's if the big key's in a bad spot.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So Durand can also go mode through Turtle Rock, while Perdwang, Jula Ninja, and GFE are going to be checking all these chests, hoping to find the ice rod. So that's going to save them some time too. Not to mention, of course, the required double dip for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the big key is in just a terrible spot in Turtle Rock, where you have to not steal the key and go ahead and get to the middle of the pipe room.
So yeah, chat calling me out and saying that Durand is totally in the lead. I think I would agree with you. I'm not sure though, because again, if they can save the mirror spot, they might not be as far behind as it seems, because it's not really a full double dip of Turtle Rock at that point. Like you can just go right back to the laser bridge. And then it's just the time it takes to get to Helma and kill him. And they already have the big key. They'll have the lamp, so probably take them 2 minutes to go do that. And maybe another less than a minute to come back. So I would say that puts them 3 minutes behind, but Durand's entering Turtle Rock about 3 minutes after, let's say, Perdwang did. So really not sure. So yeah, I explained this just a minute ago, but just to catch folks up, you can actually save the mirror portal there, even though Pod is in the Dark World, by killing yourself in the Overworld, and then selecting Save and Continue, which retains your mirror spot, as long as you have not defeated Aga 1. Or, yeah, right, Aga 1. Kind of complicated, but I know for sure that Perdwang and Durand are aware of that trick, and I think GFE is as well. So we'll see.
And that'd be really neat to see it, because that's the first time a lot of us have heard of this trick. And so that'd be a real nice little commentator's prophecy there.
Yeah, it comes up very rarely, and it's even more rare that you know the location you're supposed to go to, that you've cleared this much of the game while you're still looking for the ice rod. Oftentimes it can actually hurt you because you spend a lot of time, you waste a lot of time trying to retain that mirror location when you could be like, using the mirror to do checks more efficiently. But in this case, it would actually be a really smart heads-up play.
Looks like Jill's gonna check Mimic Cave. I think he's the first one to check that. I
think Perdwang got it for sure, and I would be surprised if GFE didn't as well.
You know what? I totally believe that. I bet I just missed it.
All right, so Perdwang is gonna flute out. Doesn't mean that they're aware of that retention trick. Or at least that doesn't mean they're going to use that retention trick, but they are mirroring out. Oh, it looks like they didn't check Pyramid Fairy, so going to do that first. And Durand is just catching up here, go-moding through TR. I can't remember where the big key was.
It's in the
But it was
pipe room here coming up.
Oh, okay, so they can't go-mode TR anyway. They're going to have to do it the full way. So yeah, chat asking if the portal stays if you die and then go into the dark world again. It will, as long as you die again in the overworld in order to return to the light world. That's just the key, is like, how do you get back to the light world without losing the mirror spot? Because there's 3 ways you could do that. You could save and quit, save and continue, which happens after a death, or you can mirror, which 2 of those ways will get rid of your mirror portal. And this trick only works if you haven't defeated Aga 1. If you have defeated Aga 1, it won't allow you to go back to the light world. You will just be put on top of the pyramid.
Every time Durand opens up his menu, it just it hurts my heart a little bit, because it's almost 100% full. I think he's got 1 spot open in his menu.
Yeah, this is pretty dang close to 100% clear of the game. I think it might actually be, depending on how many items they open up in GT. And nobody killed Vidi, so I guess that's the other thing.
What item is Durand missing? What goes in that hole?
Bugnet.
Oh, Swagnet, yes.
Because he skipped left side swamp.
Oh, right. I thought it was in pod for some reason. Right.
So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say now that I can see where they are that Durand is definitely still in the lead. Maybe if Perdwang hadn't have checked Pyramid Fairy first and had gone straight to Helma, they could have been more neck and neck, but I do not blame Perdwang for this play. It makes sense to check Pyramid Fairy before Helma. It's better in terms of items per minute.
And there's only 2 other runners in this race that aren't being shown right now. So it's safe to say that he very well might be the first person to finish the seed.
Yeah, kind of a big play that he decided to go kill Helma without the fire rod, without the lamp. Those dark rooms are hard. It's a pendant.
I have to wonder if he would have done that if he had checked Ped before that point. Because at that point, I think only Perd had been the one to check it.
Yeah, maybe because Ped was still an option, it incentivized that play. I think GFE is the one who checked it.
Oh, GFE.
But GFE hadn't checked it until after they had dipped pod anyway. I don't think anybody had checked Pedestal when they were in pod.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was just a really good gamble on his part. Durand finds the mirror shield, but doesn't even bother using it. He's a monster at this execution. Just dodges around the laser bridge.
Gonna get to see some hammer strats, forced hammer strats on Trinex. Actually, you could defeat the first phase of Trinex anyway with just the fire rod and ice rod, but you're gonna have to use the hammer for the final phase. So Jula Ninja also in pod now. Looks like maybe they didn't grab the big key earlier, or maybe they didn't come to pod at all and I was wrong.
Yeah, it looks like it. Ooh, that's not gonna feel good for him. No, he's been here before. He just didn't have a lane turn, so he probably didn't feel like doing the dark maze. Durand having to take a potion on Trinex. Definitely difficult with the hammer. Cannot fault him for doing that.
Perdong taking down Helma super quick. So this is the moment to see if they remember the mirror portal retention trick. Getting their ice rod and now in go mode at 149.40.
And Durand got Yomo. Was that 141?
I think, yeah, close to, yeah. Remember your training, Perdwong. Don't forget. Yes, he remembered. Setting up the slow 15-16 heart blue mail death here.
My man. Durand just about finished with Trinex. Just gotta grab the item and the crystal.
Now it's just a matter of remembering which of the drop-down ledges on the east side of Death Mountain bring you to the portal. Just doing a quick map check there to confirm that his mirror portal is still there. I have been there before. I've done that too.
That is just so cool, that little commentator's prophecy. I had never, ever heard or seen that shit before, and here we are getting to witness it firsthand.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool trick that a lot of people just discount, and they're like, well, there's even no reason to think about it. But yeah, I mean, in this case, it's going to probably save him 3 or 4 minutes.
So I see chat throwing out some numbers. What's all this about, Kern?
Oh yes, this is the Big Key guessing game. We don't run an official bot for the dailies, but just for fun, if you want to throw in numbers to guess the location of the Big Key, it can be in one of 22 spots. So a number between 1 and 22 is a good strategy. Although you could guess higher than that if you wanted. You're just going to be wrong most likely. And whoever gets closest to the number wins.
Now, I have seen somebody actually win by guessing number 23, because no one guessed 22, and that made him closest to the 22nd chest that key was in.
I actually won once by guessing 24, but it was an accident. We were talking about how many spins or something like that it would take to kill Ganon with certain weapons, and I said the number 24 in the conversation in chat, and the bot picked it up.
Durand taking the right side play here. You don't really see that unless runners are feeling pressure to make a low percent play. And at 152, he doesn't know that he's in the lead here.
Yeah, he is definitely in the lead, although with the Big Key still open, and also the difficulty of the hammer fight against Ganon. I mean, Perdwong could make this up. Of course, I wouldn't wish that on any runner, because that would mean maybe making some mistakes or some bad plays. But it still is. It still could be quite close between at least these two. Jewel Ninja about to finish Helm off. I haven't seen if he's retained his mirror spot or if they've save and quit at all. But it'll be interesting to see if they know about this death strat too.
Nothing but a big 20 on Bob's pillar.
All right, this will be chest number 8. Hey, there it is. If you guessed 8, and your name is Altarian, or Talwin7, who's actually the first to guess 8, but you both are winners. How about that?
You're both winners in our hearts. Talwin's a little bit more of a winner.
So I think that was a mirror back and a flute I saw on Jewel Ninja, or I heard anyway, because I was looking at chat. So that means they have to do the dungeon again. We'll see what GFE does. Pretty sure GFE knows the trick.
Now, it's not guaranteed Durand's in the lead, because our other 2 runners are Chloe Prower and Synums, and they're both very competent runners, so they could take this away from him. They could snipe this.
Definitely. They're on that SRL leaderboard with them SRL points. Yeah, and very good runners. So we have no idea.
And Perd making the same gamble as Duran, so he's not making up any time here.
Yeah, his best hope is that Durand has a bad time in the Gauntlet or on Ganon, which that fight is very difficult. And Durand said this is their first Swordless seed, so I mean, kicking a lot of butt for a first Swordless seed. But that Ganon fight can be a little surprising when you have to deal suddenly with two very messed up hitboxes, because we have the hammer, obviously, but Ganon's hitbox is also really messed up, which you usually don't notice that until you're trying to do something crazy like hammer strats.
And Duran went full on Matrix in those ice physics rooms. Not even slow down. He's having a very clean gauntlet right now.
That was the fake one cycle Landmo. He got it all done in one cycle, like all Landmos killed in one cycle. It just happened to be 2 cycles total because he missed the first one. So it kind of counts as a one cycle Landmo. I'm going to count it anyway.
We'll allow it. Also looks to be a really clean Wizard room.
Yeah, so GFE did know the trick. Jewel Ninja was well on her way up the mountain while GFE was still fighting Helmsor. But because he knew the trick, he could just hop right back in on Laser Bridge and get back to the boss. So yeah, it's just such a weird piece of esoteric game knowledge that so rarely comes up. But man, when it's handy, it's real handy.
Oh no, did Perd kill Bob? I missed it.
Sad day. Looks like he went full right too, so he lost quite a bit of time over Durand, who mirrored out after checking the compass room.
But he found the coward's mail, so who's the real winner here?
Chat? Chat's the real winner.
You know what? You're right. Chat is the real winner.
Because they didn't have to do a Swordless seed.
That's the only way to win at Swordless, is by not doing it. Duran not gonna hover. He'll go ahead and do the intended strat here.
Yeah, Unstable Harmony saying Red Mill might make a difference. Yeah, and this Ganon fight can be really protracted. Durand already down some health. He used his blue potion on Trinex, so I think all he has left is a green potion, if I'm correct. Which could mean a difficult fight with these hammer strats, and if Durand doesn't he doesn't have bug net, so he can't catch a fairy. He could refill a fairy before, or mirror and go get potions, but I think I know Durand, and I think he's just going to go in and do it anyway.
Now, it does need to be said that he went through a 2-hour seed and did not validate his run. He skipped that chest.
Yeah, commonly called validation chest, not because it actually invalidates your run to not open it, but as a joke, because there's usually no reason to open that chest, particularly in Randomizer. So the idea is if you open it, you must have just been doing that to validate that you're not like a TAS or something. Which, by the way, you could program that into a TAS or use that to make people think that you weren't, but you were. So it's not a really good validation method. Just saying.
And we also need to point out that Uncle lied to us. This was not a guaranteed 2-hour seed.
Yeah, whenever he says that, you know, it just jinxes it. It's not going to be true. Okay, Durand doing hammer strats on Aga 2. In the normal game, of course, you could reflect the beams with a sword or a bug net, but in Swordless, you can also do so with a hammer. Can be kind of difficult, though. Like, that pattern would have been doable with swords, but because Aga threw blue balls, it was going to be real difficult to hit that back. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Durand is new to Swordless.
Durand only has 1 heart left.
Oh, no! What have you done, FT?
Durand, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh my god.
Whew. Wow.
That's... Ooh.
That is an upset.
Perd is now Oh, no one tell Duran. No one tell him. No
Okay,
one tell him I did this.
I'll try. I'll try not to. Yeah, that's what it was gonna take to have a lead swap. But yeah, this is swordless, and it's very difficult, especially this last part of the game. Especially if you haven't done it before, because it's basically like entirely new boss fights that you haven't practiced. You know, you have all these speed strats, and you think you're fine. I mean, I'm sure Durand was very confident going up the gauntlet, because normally on a seed that would be fine to have low health. You know, maybe damage through some enemies. I don't care. I'm not going to pick up that anti-fairy, but in this game mode, it's like an entirely new boss fight.
Chat is calling to kill the witch, and I dearly hope they're not talking about me.
Well, they're probably not talking about me, so...
Kern, you gotta hide me. You gotta help me out, man.
All right, fine. But only because you've been so good to me.
Now, it needs to be said that Perd also has to get through Aghanim without dying. So yes. He does have some extra safety strats for himself.
Yeah, he's got that red mail, and also has another red potion at least, I saw in his inventory.
And you know what? We can trace this all the way back to Duran not validating the run. That's the reason this happened.
It must be. No other explanation. Oh, trying to use a Bombo strat, but doesn't have the sword. Durand down in this gauntlet room. Would have been a good moment to use it too.
So normally in a vanilla randomizer run, passing the geometry test on Aghanim, that's 4 cycles, right? So what's passing geometry test with hammer?
Like how many hits does it take?
Yeah, how many cycles do we consider passing your test?
Oh,
or how many cycles?
That is a hard question. You know, I really don't know. There aren't many ways that you can optimize that fight, especially the first 2 phases. Probably the best thing you could do is to use some Mario strats. So, you know, when you have Ganon close to the wall and you hit him with something, you ricochet, right? But if there's a wall behind you, then you don't ricochet as far, allowing you to get more hits in. Unfortunately, it's not as significant with the hammer because of the duration of the animation, but it can save time and get extra hits in. However, Ganon doesn't often warp against the wall. So what you can do is you can put a Samaria block down and treat it like a wall. But that's a really advanced strat, and actually it's not free. It doesn't act like a normal wall. You actually have to press a D input in the direction towards the block as you're ricocheting against it to cancel your movement. So it's very technical and difficult. But that's probably the only way I know of that you could speed that fight up, other than just like hitting him every time and not missing because of the hitbox. So that was a lot of words to say. I have no idea. You can get, I think you can get 3 or maybe 4 hammers in the first cycle, but after that, I don't really know.
Ooh, GFE getting trolled by Trollorm too. No one's having a good time with that guy today. Does Durand have to fight? No, he doesn't have to fight Trollorm again, right? Because the chest will still be there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
But he didn't open it though.
Oh, good point.
Oh no.
You might have to refight in that case. I don't know why I'm sounding so excited about that. I feel really bad. I haven't been counting, but also Perdwong having some trouble here with this fight as well. Those blue balls just really screw you up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, heading off to Ganon now.
He was close to full health, so I think it's safe to say the red mill saved this fight.
Yeah, well, he did have a red potion, but definitely it's going to help out a lot, you know, considering he's going to go straight from this into Ganon, and also did not pick up the bug net, apparently.
Durand did end up having to redo that fight because he did not validate his run.
Yeah, well, there we go. So now we know.
Kids always validate your run.
Open the chest. GFE deciding to take some swag strats with the bug net, which Durand and Perdwong couldn't have chosen to do, unfortunately.
More power to this guy. He's gonna save some time doing this, so he might catch up to Perd, and we could see a snipe from each other.
Yeah, it kind of depends on. Oh my God, Durand already back at Aga 2. I didn't notice that. This is very close between all three runners. It just depends on their Ganon fights.
For such a linear seed, we've got a hype ending. Chat saying to never open final chest unless you're looking for something. Usually that's the tempered sword or the silvers if you haven't found them yet.
Yeah, or just any sword upgrade, or sometimes safeties, bottles, heart pieces, cape. Here we go, Perdwong on the Ganon fight. Looks like already in phase 2. I looked away as GFE is entering. Nice. Durand gets Aga 2 down.
And this fight becomes harder because you don't have the hook shot to save you unless you want to slow down your fight with menuing. So this fight just keeps getting harder and harder. And
Yeah,
Perd cutting it close with that final. He only had 1 heart left.
both GFE and Perd, yeah, Perdwong both using their bottles at the kind of last moment. Yeah, this is where that Canis Mario really comes in handy, is in that second phase, if you know that strat, because you can just sit inside the ring of fire bats there and get off, 6-7 hits easily if you can do the tech. But it's a really difficult tech.
Yeah, and without the sword, you can't do the boot stretch inside this circle.
Yeah, all your normal strats. That's what I'm saying. It's like a completely different fight. GFE luckily has 1 more blue potion to heal up here. Perdwong kind of taking a safer approach here, which I think I'm a fan of. Although got hit right as I said that. Still no finishers here from the rest of our runners.
Yeah, we need to stop telling the. Oh, but he moves on to phase 3. We gotta stop making predictions. We keep ruining their day.
Yeah, phase 3 is good. It's a bit easier the last half, although still with low health and weird hitboxes, it can be anyone's game. All right, all of our restream runners now joining us in the Ganon fight.
I think we might have cursed Durand because it looks like he has to start over his Ooh. I missed that, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, brave dude. Like, even though this is a totally new fight to him, has no other safeties, just went right back in twice, instead of going to go buy potions or something. We'll see if he does this time. Yep, just brave guy. And Perdwong has killed the pig. And let's see if he can make it through the doorway.
I hope it doesn't get sniped because we got 2 other runners off screen here.
Finished official SRL time. First place of 2 hours, 8 minutes, 42 seconds. Get your GDs in chat for Perdwong. Crazy upset. Good fights. Well done.
For such a linear seed, this was a tough thing.
Yeah, definitely that nail coming in handy on that Ganon fight and that Aga 2 fight for Perdwong. GFE, though, on the final phase, so going to be shortly behind. Durand taking another death. Jewel Ninja decided to go get potions, so that might be the play here for Durand. Make it a lot easier of a time, but he's just gonna go again. And GFE finishing with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, 27 seconds in second place. So GG to him as well.
We'll see if we can get our runners in here for an interview. We've got another coming up. So we're going to try and be courteous of them and get the interviews done quickly.
See if we can bring Perdwong in here. Hey, Perdwong, GG.
GG.
Looks like your mic might be muted here.
Oh.
Maybe he didn't have his mic set up. I might have pulled him in early.
Maybe he heard about the commentator's curse.
And just decided to leave without saying anything.
Julo having a solid second phase. Oh, he doesn't have the red mail, so he's gonna have a tougher time making it through this. But he did restock on potions, so he should be good as he moves on to the third phase.
Durand getting into the second phase now, looks like.
Herd had an official 174 out of 216. Yikes! That's about as close as it can get. Without it being 216 out of 216.
Yeah, missed a couple of checks because of Ganon's Tower, and that doesn't include items that they've seen but didn't pick up. So yeah, that's pretty dang close to 100% clear there. Ooh, Durand bites dust again. Come on, get some potions, man.
We believe in Durand. We're here for him. He's gonna go get some potions.
Phew. I think in the end it's gonna save him a lot more time. But it's hard, like, it's a new boss fight. You just want to brute force it, and you're like, I shouldn't need to do this. But GG's to Jewel Ninja,
who's finishing with an official SRL time of, let's see, 2 minutes, 12 minutes, and 13 seconds. 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 13 seconds.
All right, let's try this again here.
I think this is working.
Hey, Perdwong, can you hear us now? And can we hear you?
Yeah, I think I got everything working.
I'm good.
Well, GG's, and I'm going to bring GFE in here as well, who's ready. Good games to the both of you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That was insane.
It was incredible watching you all play.
Considering the length of the seed and the difficulties involved, the fact that you two finished with less than a minute apart is pretty crazy.
I felt super behind. I don't actually know how I ended up in first place here, because I went all over the world looking for that hammer.
Yeah, I was commenting on that as well. Like, you were the last one to have found the hammer there on the ledge. It was available potentially so early to you, but I think that you did some things that might have saved you some time, and a lot of it I think was just plain execution. Both of you knowing the trick to get back into Turtle Rock and get back to your mirror spot, which was really cool to see. Because both you and GFE went into Turtle Rock without the ice rod, and then had to go back to Helma.
I think you're the one who taught me that the other day, Kern.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that you knew it because I thought I had remembered that, but I wasn't positive. And now we've taught, a few dozen other people, so that's great. A few hundred, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't know whether to metagame it or not, because it was very weird when I was going into Turtle Rock that nobody else had finished. I figured if somebody had chosen the right path, like, it would have been easy to finish way before then. And so I went into Turtle Rock saying, oh my gosh, I bet everyone's already done this and it's not going to be here. And when I found the lamp, I was like, yeah, this probably leads to Ice Rod somewhere.
Yeah, I think the fact that the seed bottlenecks so much, you don't lose too much routing efficiency without the hammer. So, most everyone had to 100% what they could. With the only exception being of our restreamed runners being Durand, who found the ice rod early by doing that dark turtle room without the lamp and without the fire rod. It's kind of a bold move. But yeah, everybody else had to 100% the rest of the seed, which is why I think it didn't really hurt you as much to miss that hammer.
I wanted to do the dark turtle room, but this being swordless, I just didn't feel comfortable with it because we did not have much to work with then.
Yeah, swordless dark turtle room on top of fire rodless. Yeah, real tough. I don't blame you at all for skipping that.
Oh, I usually just use the hammer. When I'm in there in the dark, I just hammer all over the place until I get everything.
So that would have been right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the problems I had getting into pod though? I was like, where's the last few rupees?
I do remember you collecting some rupees on the pyramid ledge. Is that right? On your way over there, kind of?
No, I like went over to pod and I was like, oh wait, I'm short on the rupees. So I decided to check out pyramid and then catfish. And then on my way back, I was like, I need rupees. I was killing all the enemies, and then I took out the shovel. It was crazy. I really fell behind.
Well, no one would have noticed it except for you just mentioned right now, because we were probably watching some. So you could have got away with it.
Yeah, I was perennially short on the consumables. Like I couldn't do the digging game because I didn't have enough rupees. I was short on bombs when I went into Desert Palace, so I couldn't check the right side. Yeah, I felt like I just wasn't thinking very well.
Yeah, swordless trips you up. I mean, like that bombs required for right side of DP is such a weird swordless kind of thing. And GG's to Duran finishing that Ganon fight. This is their first swordless seed. First to get through Ganon's tower too as well. Just had some trouble on Agatu in the Ganon fight. So GG to him. Looks like finished with fourth place with a time of 2:16:38. So all of our restream runners finishing first or fourth.
Yeah, this was my first swordless seed too, and this was not what I was hoping for a first seed.
Oh, was it really? Well, grats on that. I mean, that Ganon fight and that Agatu fight were pretty clean, especially for it being your first time doing it swordless.
Appreciate that. I think the only thing that I didn't check in the whole game was whatever the second item was in Mire.
And I don't think we know what that item was.
Because it was on Vitreous, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we didn't. Nobody checked it. So
Did anybody find the bug net?
They did. It was in Pod, was it? Or was it in...
it was a dungeon. That's all I remember.
I think
What
it
item?
The bug net?
Oh, I got that. It was in Left Side Swamp.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I skipped out on that. I was like, one item left and I'm behind. Let's just go somewhere else.
Yeah, I gambled it the first time through.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it makes sense to kind of leave Left Side Swamp in that scenario, but Bugnet definitely coming in handy. I mean, if nothing else for that Agatu fight. And Durand now joining us. Good game, Durand.
Good game.
So this was your first swordless, right? Do you remember reading that in chat?
Yes, this was my first swordless, and I learned a hard lesson on Ganon for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a completely different boss fight.
Yeah.
But up
Yeah,
to that
but-
point, it was a super strong run.
Yeah, you had the lead by far coming into that Ganon fight. Actually, it was the Aga fight, and then I think the death to Agatu allowed Perdwong to pull ahead there.
Yeah, I feel like when I had like 2 hearts, I'm like, okay, focus. I'm too focused on like trying to get 2 or 3 hits in, and I just want to live or get 1 in if I'm lucky. Kind of just waiting for the right scenario.
That's what I was guessing. It's like speedrunner mentality of like one of the first things you learn when you speedrun is to stop avoiding taking damage because you waste so much time trying to avoid damage. But you can only do that after you've learned enemy patterns and stuff. But because it's kind of like a new boss fight with different timings, you're still in that mode of I'm just going to damage through this, and you don't realize that you're almost dead all of a sudden.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's definitely the hardest part of this, I feel.
Yeah, and I admire your tenacity to go back into Ganon, just right away, not going to get potions. But it seems like that's what enabled you to finish in the end there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty much seeing that unless I practice that for a long time, I'm gonna keep needing potions like that, which is a shame because if I didn't find 3 bottles, I'd be stuck.
Yeah, actually, everybody needing potions in that Ganon fight because it's hard. I mean, you got the hammer hitbox, which sucks, and then Ganon's hitbox is really weird, and you don't normally notice it in the Ganon fight because your sword has such a wide hitbox that it kind of, it doesn't become a problem. But then suddenly, when you have to do it with hammer, yeah, it's deceivingly difficult. It's like a truly good end game boss fight.
Yeah, and there's several times I'd autopilot to certain items, just thinking, oh, I'll just use this, and I'll slash them with my... Oh, wait. Right. Can't do that. But I'm curious, what caused me to pull ahead early on?
The ice rod that when you got it from Helmasaur,
Oh, yeah.
no one else did the dark room checks in order to get to him, and so that put you way ahead of everyone else.
There was still one chest I couldn't find. I just couldn't figure out where I was in the maze. So I was really hoping nothing was there. And if there was, I was hoping it'd be a problem for everyone else. But I just said, you know what? I've been in here too long. Gotta leave. Just go to the boss.
Well, yeah, you lucked out in that regard. I don't remember what else was in pod, but I'm pretty sure it was nothing. Nothing else was in pod but the ice rod on Helma.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, any other thoughts on the seed?
No.
It was fun and very different. I can also see places where it could have been much worse. I mean, as it stood, I was worrying I'd have to go into Misery Mire, and even if I did, at least I had the arrows. So I was thinking, what if you needed to dive Misery Mire without the arrows? I guess I just need to stock up on bombs, because I'm not sure how I'd approach that.
Yeah, bombs, hammer strats can really suck on that fight, but it's doable. Or for the first phase of that fight anyway, it can be really hard. The final phase, of course, the Vidian hammer is free if you get in that top right corner, but yeah, it can be difficult for sure in Swordless.
True. I have practiced Cold Stare with this hammer before, but it has been a while, so didn't want to play with that. Had a fire rod, let's use it.
Yeah,
I was just happy to get it right in Ice Palace, too.
Yeah, I was hoping that hammer Cold Stare would trip everybody up. And then I opened up Fire Rod and was like, oh, well.
No advantage there.
I'll also add in that the uncle is a liar. This was not a sub 2 seed.
Yeah, whenever he says that, you know that the seed is cursed.
There was a lot of cursing going on in this seed. We didn't mean to, but it may or may not have been the cause of a certain number of bad things that happened to y'all's runs.
Yeah, we made a pact not to name names, but there might have been some curses.
Probably cursed us with bombs when we already had bombs.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna confirm or deny.
I thought it was an open mode seed, and then the uncle woke up, and I was like, wait.
That too.
All right, well, we're going to wrap things up here. If you liked what you saw, here's a link to follow our runners. Great job, everybody. I cannot believe that it was some of your first time doing Swordless. It was an absolute pleasure to watch you. Any final thoughts, Forgotten Toupee?
I want to give one more shout out to our fabulous trackers tonight, who were Miss Metroid and Merc249. They did a superb job, and we couldn't do it without them.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us. This has been the continuation of the Speed Gaming Daily Series. And we're going to cut stream here real quick because it looks like we've got some other things coming up. So stick around and see you later.